Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about survival games, the ones that really get under your skin, the ones that stick with you, and the ones that feel different every single time you play them. Survival games are special because they don't just challenge your reflexes, they challenge your decisions, your patience, and honestly, sometimes, your sanity. I've played a ton of them over the years, and today I want to share a list of 10 that stand out. Not just by popularity, but by feel, by how deep the experience goes, by those personal moments that stay in your memory long after the game is off. Let me start with Ark Survival Evolved, because honestly, this game is pure chaos wrapped in beauty. The first time you wake up on that beach with nothing but a strange implant in your arm, it feels like the beginning of an adventure you're absolutely not ready for. Taming dinosaurs is the big attraction, of course, and every time I got a new creature, I felt like I'd unlocked a whole new part of the game. The world is massive, dangerous, and unpredictable. A T-Rex can walk out of the trees and end your whole run in 2 seconds. Co-op in Ark is incredible. Building a base with friends, protecting it, taming creatures together. It hits differently when you survive as a group. The graphics? They can be a little rough at times, but when the sun sets over the jungle or you ride a pteranodon across the map, the game is stunning. And terrifying. Mostly terrifying. Rust, on the other hand, is pure psychological warfare. Rust is the kind of game where even if you're fully geared, you never truly feel safe. The world is harsh, players are harsher, and the chaos is constant. I remember building a tiny base thinking, no one will find me here. 10 minutes later, some guy with a rock is banging on my door screaming in voice chat. That's Rust. It's funny, brutal, and endlessly intense. The PvP is the heart of the experience, and the graphics create that gritty, abandoned industrial wasteland vibe that fits perfectly. If Ark is survival with dinosaurs, Rust is survival against humanity, which honestly might be scarier. 7 Days to Die is one of those games that genuinely surprised me with its depth. On the surface, it's a zombie survival game, but the building, crafting, skill systems, and especially the Blood Moon Horde nights make it something truly unique. I love that moment when you think your base is solid, and then the 7th night comes and your whole structure collapses under a wave of zombies. It's the kind of chaos that makes you rethink everything. The voxel world allows you to shape the environment in crazy ways. It's not the prettiest game visually, but the atmosphere, especially at night, is incredible. And co-op makes it 100 times better. Raft is such a different kind of survival game. Instead of forests and mountains, you start with a tiny wooden raft in the middle of endless ocean. That setting alone creates a completely unique atmosphere. The silence, the waves, the feeling of being totally alone, except for your little floating home. The crafting loop is simple but addicting, and watching your raft grow from a tiny plank to a full floating base is so satisfying. The shark adds constant pressure without being overwhelming, and the islands bring just enough exploration to keep things exciting. Playing Raft with friends turns it into this peaceful, funny, cooperative journey where everyone has a job. One person fishes, another builds, another navigates. Valheim. This game hit the world like a storm for a reason. It captures the feeling of exploration better than almost any survival game out there. There's this magical moment the first time you enter the Black Forest or stumble into a swamp and suddenly think, oh no, I'm not ready for this. Valheim balances chill atmosphere with moments of absolute panic, and it nails the progression curve. Building longhouses, sailing across the ocean, fighting bosses, everything feels epic, but still cozy. The graphics are stylized in a way that feels timeless, and playing with friends is honestly one of the best co-op survival experiences you can have. No Man's Sky has evolved into something massive. When I first played it, the thing that stood out the most was the feeling of pure freedom. Entire planets to explore, bizarre alien creatures, starships, bases, portals, and it's all connected by that survival loop of mining, crafting, upgrading your suit, and surviving on hazardous planets. Every planet has its own personality. Some are beautiful, some horrifying, some barren. And when you finally upgrade your ship or build your first big base, you feel like you've carved out a tiny piece of the universe for yourself. Co-op makes the game even better now. Exploring galaxies with friends feels incredible. Project Zomboid is easily one of the most brutal survival games ever made. It's not flashy, it's not fast-paced. Instead, it's slow, methodical, and shockingly realistic. You don't just worry about zombies. You worry about food, water, injuries, infections, depression, boredom, weight loss, broken windows, noise levels, light exposure. Everything matters. And the game isn't afraid to kill you for the smallest mistake. But that's also why it's unforgettable. Surviving for even a week feels like a major achievement. The graphics are isometric and simple, but the detail in systems is incredible. And co-op is amazing, especially when you and your friend realize you accidentally just attracted 100 zombies to your base. Don't Starve is a game that looks cute for about 2 minutes, and then it shows you its teeth. The Tim Burton art style is beautiful, creepy, and unique. I love how every creature, plant, and biome has personality. The survival loop is fast and unforgiving. Hunger, sanity, darkness, seasons, everything is dangerous. I've had runs where everything was going great, and then winter arrived and wiped me out in 30 seconds. But the sense of discovery is what makes Don't Starve timeless. Every biome has secrets, every monster has tricks, and every mistake teaches you something. The co-op version, Don't Starve Together, is one of the best group survival experiences ever created. The Forest is one of the most atmospheric survival games I've ever played. The moment your plane crashes, you feel stranded, alone, and hunted. And the cannibals do not let you forget it. The game blends survival mechanics with psychological horror in a way that keeps you constantly on edge. Building bases is fun until you hear screams in the woods at night. Exploring caves is terrifying and exciting at the same time. The crafting is intuitive, the world is beautiful but hostile, and the progression feels natural. Playing The Forest with friends creates some of the funniest but also scariest gaming moments you can imagine. And finally, Subnautica. Honestly, one of the best survival games of all time. The ocean setting is breathtaking, mysterious, and terrifying in equal measure. The sense of depth, the underwater ecosystems, the sound design, everything pulls you in. Exploring deeper biomes for the first time is unforgettable. The creatures feel alive, the world feels handcrafted, and the story is surprisingly emotional for a survival game. There's nothing like the moment you dive too deep and hear something moving in the darkness. Subnautica perfectly balances beauty with fear. There's no co-op, but honestly, the solitary atmosphere makes the experience even stronger. All these games do something different with the survival genre. Some are peaceful, some brutal, some terrifying, some cozy. But they all create stories. Stories you remember, stories you share with friends, stories that stick with you long after you stop playing. That's what makes survival games special. And that's why these 10 are the ones that really stand out for me. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video.